What's up, guys? This is Chris here, and today we are out here on this beautiful evening. Today we are going to be talking about 7 guns that I really didn't like. 7 guns that super disappointed me. Now, some of these guns I was excited about when I got them. Some of them I sort of knew weren't going to be great right off the gate, but all of them in one way or another disappointed me. And today we're going to be going over those guns and trying to help you steer clear and maybe make some smarter purchase decisions than I did. Now, if it's the first time you've seen my channel, I have spent the last decade shooting firearms and trying to find out the best guns for you guys to use for concealed carry and for home defense. So if you're interested, go down there and check out the rest of my videos. We have absolutely tons of videos on great guns. We don't just talk about shitty ones. Now, if you want a gun that you won't regret getting, we're actually giving away one of the best guns we've ever given away on the channel. This month, we're giving away a Dark Forge Reaper, which is a completely blacked out $7,500 custom 2011. One of the best shooting pistols we've ever had on the channel, and I'm very excited we're giving this pistol away to one of you guys. So if you're interested in that, just go check out the link below. With that being said, let's get right into it with number 7, a gun that only pissed me off a little bit, and that is going to be the Kel-Tec 57. Now, the Kel-Tec 57 is a brand new gun from this year and was the sort of talk of the town at SHOT Show, and I was confused. I was surprised that so many people that I thought were so informed were so excited about this thing. So I had to get my hands on it and see what the excitement was all about. I hate being right, but in this case, I definitely was, and the Kel-Tec 57 is in fact just another Kel-Tec. Reliable, it's accurate, but wildly inconvenient. It's kind of a cool idea, I guess, if you like stupid ideas. The gun carries a 21 round magazine capacity, which is awesome, don't get me wrong. It's a semi-automatic pistol chambered in 5.7, which is a good idea. I like concealed carry pistols chambered in 5.7 because you can pack a lot of capacity because the round's a little thinner than 9mm, and it also has light recoil, so pretty much anybody who even is recoil sensitive can enjoy shooting the gun.
Well, the recoil isn't bad.
No, the recoil's not bad. It also is a relatively capable caliber. It is still more capable than something like a 22. The gun is ultra lightweight as well, especially for its size, but I feel like that is sort of where the good parts drop off. Well, let's talk about how it looks first off. It sort of looks like somebody picked out a couple of parts and put this together in Home Depot. The second thing I don't like is it takes clips instead of magazines, which is what people thought was so innovative. We've had clip guns before, we don't have many more because they suck.
I'm gonna break a nail.
This gun comes with 2 10-round clips where you can install your 5.7 in your pistol like your grandpappy did in World War I. That process is relatively annoying, although sort of fun, so I'm kind of 50-50 on the whole thing.
Loading tips with Bubba.
Put it in there at like an angle, with like the back end first, then the front slides in really easy.
Okay.
Is it lefty friendly?
No, it is not.
Okay.
I don't think it's anybody friendly, to be honest.
The gun was relatively reliable, however, the accuracy and the trigger is kind of rough. First off, the sights are molded in there in classic Kel-Tec fashion. The sights are not adjustable, and on top of that, the trigger is a double action only. So if you pull the trigger all the way to the rear, you have to let it all the way out before you can fire the gun again. Not only does that create user-induced malfunctions, basically not resetting the trigger all the way before you pull the trigger again, but it decreases rate of fire pretty dramatically. Now, on top of that, when I went to SHOT Show, one of the cool things that I thought this had going for it was the fact that it was Californian compliant, but when I spoke to Kel-Tec themselves, I found out that it wasn't. So I just don't really see a use or a need or a niche or really any reason for this to exist, but it is cool. Overall, for the price that I paid for it, I wish I didn't buy it, but it's not all that bad. Now, in at number 6, we have the Benelli M4 Generation 2, kind of. Now, I should preface that Benelli M4 is my favorite shotgun. And I don't mean my favorite semi-automatic shotgun or my favorite tactical shotgun. It is my favorite shotgun. I love the Benelli M4. I have 3 different models. I absolutely love it. I can't stress enough. But it does have some shortcomings because it was designed in the early 2000s. So I was hoping for a long time that they would have a new version of it. And especially with the new Turk-Nelly clones that came out recently, it kind of forced Benelli's hand into reintroducing the Benelli M4 with features people are looking for, like the ability to add a light, for example. But the new Generation 2 was sort of a disappointment. Now, don't get me wrong, the base gun is very reliable, very durable, and the same old Benelli M4 you've been looking for. But there's no reason to buy the Generation 2, especially if you already have a Generation 1, which is why I wish I didn't buy it, because I should have just put an M-LOK rail or a quad rail on my regular Benelli M4, and I would have been better off than what I did with the Gen 2. The Gen 2 has a adjustable rail, I guess is what you would call it, basically a rail where you can use Picatinny slots that you have to buy from Benelli to make it a Picatinny rail. It's like an adjustable Picatinny rail instead of using existing M-LOK or even key mod. I know it looks like dicks, but it's better than this. On top of that, if you want to use your Picatinny rail adjustable rail to, let's say, put a vertical grip and a light on it, you can, because it only comes in the box with one rail and you can't buy the rails. Great job, Benelli. Great job. They also added the new adjustable stock, which is basically just the same stock you couldn't get on the old gun. Overall, I think it's a great gun. However, I don't think any of the new features are really worth the price, and I don't think you should spend the extra money. I think you should either just buy the old one, or honestly, maybe look at the Turk Nellies, because at least my buddy Nick has a few that he likes. In at number 5, we have a very beautiful pistol, the Beretta Corsa. So this is a very beautiful Beretta 92. That's really about it. The Beretta 92 is a platform that I like, I don't love. I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to love it, but they came out with 50 different versions of the Beretta 92 instead of a new gun, for example. A new gun would be great. Come up with a new gun. I know people are gonna say the Beretta APX, but the Beretta APX, you know what that looks like. This is a really pretty version of a gun that I still can't shoot well. Now, I'm not saying the Beretta Corsa is a bad gun. The first couple on this list are not bad guns per se. They're just guns I wish I didn't buy personally, as I mentioned before. It has the compensator on it, which I don't really feel like works very well for whatever reason. The recoil and pulse is okay, but I don't really think it's any faster than a standard Beretta. As a matter of fact, they actually make a Beretta steel frame that I think has lower recoil than this aluminum frame version with the comp on it. Because even though it has the comp on it and the cool grips, there's absolutely no texture to this grip whatsoever. So even though it has the comp, the gun just slops around in your hand while you're shooting it, which is relatively annoying. The trigger looks really good. It looks really pretty, but the trigger itself, in my opinion, is no better than the standard single action from a regular $400 Beretta M9 that you can get from a military surplus store. I mean, this is like a 6-7 pound single action trigger. And the double action, oh, you don't have that because it's single action only. So it's not a bad trigger per se, but it's certainly not as good as you would want to justify the added cost of over double or even triple what a normal Beretta 92 or M9 would cost you. And lastly, my own personal bias of the gun is the safeties on these single action pistols on the Beretta are terrible. They're absolutely terrible. I know they're trying to mimic the 1911, and I would do that too because the 1911 is the greatest gun ever made. That being said, the safeties on the Beretta M9 have these huge ledges right here, which cut my hand and beat my hand up every single time I shoot them to the point to where I don't want to shoot them at all, which is why I've had 3 different versions of these single action Berettas now, and I've never shot them past the first shots just because I don't like them. This one personally I actually kept just because it looks pretty on my wall, but honestly, I would have rather had something else, which is why I wish I didn't buy it. This is also supposed to be like their race gun, like their fastest edition, and I feel like for the money, you can get much quicker pistols in my personal opinion. You could get the Canik TTI Combat, you could get the Walther PDP-X, you could get the new Smith & Wesson steel frame with the comp on it, you could get a lot of other guns for similar money that are faster, more accurate, and have better features than this gun does. In at number 4, we have the Henry Big Boy X. Now, the Henry lever action rifle is actually a gun that you guys have been waiting for a 1,000 round review for quite a while, and I honestly forgot to do it. So here's your mini synopsis. It is a very cool gun, don't get me wrong. It has a 16-inch barrel chambered in 357 or 38 special, which I like a lot. I like that, especially with the Henrys, you can run 38 and you can run 357 mostly reliably. The lever is a good design, but not a great design, and the furniture was a big upgrade for the time it came out, allowing you to put a light or a laser or something like that on your Henry lever action if you want to use it for home defense. It also has a threaded barrel, which is a great addition for a lever action because lever actions, especially in 38 special, can be extremely quiet suppressed because the action doesn't open until you open it, which is really, really good. The downside to the gun, however, is that they are very expensive, some coming in from $1,500 all the way to $2,500, and for a lever action rifle, that's pushing it. Now, what really pisses me off about the gun is it has limited reliability. Let's go with that. I mean, it was reliable for the most part when I first started shooting it, but over the course of the review, it got worse and worse. And on top of that, the coating on the Henry rifles are so bad. They're so bad that they rust so quickly that all of the Henry rifles that I've had that I don't consistently oil have rusted receivers, which just irritates me because if you're buying a $1,500 to $2,000 gun, you shouldn't have to do that. Modern coatings exist, spray the damn thing. On top of that, recently, I was talking to my buddy from a local gun store here in Des Moines, and apparently they have to do that to all of their Henry lever action rifles once a week or they will rust as well, which shows me that quality control over at Henry is certainly not what it used to be. This is just my personal opinion, but I feel like with a lot of different modern lever action rifles today from companies like Marlin or Smith & Wesson, I don't really see a need to buy Henry, and I'm just not a fan, and I wish I didn't have it. Overall, if you take care of the gun, it's certainly a decent gun, I'm sure. However, it's really not for me. All right, in at number 3, we have the Walther WMP Gen 2. Now, technically, I didn't buy this gun. I got this shipped to me by Walther, but it doesn't change the fact that I wish I didn't own the thing. I was really disappointed by the WMP, and maybe the most disappointed I was by a handgun this year, at least in recent memory. The WMP original Gen 1 was one of my favorite guns I fired back in like, what, 2022? I have a video of the original. Then we got this guy, which I was pretty excited about. This is a polymer framed 22 Magnum pistol with a threaded barrel and optics mounting system and every magazine release you could think of. It has some interesting features to it that I was excited about, but the main thing is the grip on these guns feel great. 22 Magnum is affordable. It's a powerful enough cartridge to use, although it's a rimfire cartridge, so there's reliability issues in those generally, and we did have some in this. That being said, it's comfortable, it felt good in the hand, and I was hoping it would be a really smooth shooting pistol like the first one. However, that was not the case. The sights on it are really good, blacked out rear with a fiber optic front. However, the rear sight was so loose that I can move it with my hand, and we had constant accuracy problems while we were shooting the gun. All right, we're gonna drift our sight here. We went a little too far. And there we go. It's that easy, kids. The second thing is we obviously had some reliability problems, especially in the beginning with cheaper ammo. Well, UCCI Mini Mag, that sort of worked itself out, but it still makes me very leery of the gun. The double-sided slide releases and magazine release, in theory, are a great idea, but not all theories check out in real life, and in which case, these slide releases don't work at all. These are basically useless. By putting them on both sides, you have effectively made them useless on both sides. However, you can still run the slide, so you can do it that way. The magazine releases are tough to use, especially on the left side, but they are sort of usable. Another issue that I find with the gun is that it has 4 magazine releases, which might be good for some people. You might be thinking, wow, I have a left-handed wife, I'm right-handed, maybe this is a good idea. Now imagine having 4 different levers on your gun that can accidentally and immediately unload your gun depending on where your grip is. You have the push lever on that side, push lever on this side, you have the magazine release on this side, and the magazine release on that side. I just think that's too much shit to have near a trigger group, and I think that you're way more likely to drop your magazine by accident than you are for this actually to be a pro. If you just had a standard American mag release that you could swap, if you're left-handed, you swap it over. Or you just run the paddle release, which has been working well for the Europeans for a long time. Just run that. Don't have both of these things. It's overcomplicated and dumb. I just think they spent too much time with this stuff, and they didn't spend enough time actually making the gun reliable and maybe making the sight not drift around. Overall, this was a big disappointment for me, and I would avoid this. In at number 2 here, we have the Police Locker Special. If you are going to try to find an evidence gun, this is right up there with the best of them. If you're going to find a gun in a ditch somewhere that may be a junkie left behind, the Jennings is where it's at.
I wonder how close we have to get to make some hits.
If you're being robbed in Seattle, it's probably a Jennings that did it. The Jennings is notorious and well known for being a pretty big shitbox. We actually bought this for a video, and now I can't get rid of the damn thing because nobody wants it. Like a lot of other guns we've had on the channel, this gun is so bad, it's just going to sit down in my basement literally forever in my gun vault in a box somewhere, and I'm just going to sneer at it every once in a while when I come downstairs until I have a good idea for a shitty video, and it's going to make a reappearance, like a plague. You ever seen the movie The Conjuring, where they have all those like evil things they kind of keep in their house so nobody ever gets a hold of them? Well, I have this, the Outlaw, and a whole bunch of 320s. Now, the Jennings 380 is a 380 ACP pistol with a interesting battery of arms. We have a heel magazine release, which should have went out in World War I.
Oh, it unseated the mag again. And the reason I'm shooting it one-handed is because if I wrap my second hand around, it engages the magazine release.
We have a very limited magazine capacity of I think 6 rounds in the magazine and 1 in the tube. We have the worst sights in history, and we have overall one of the cheapest guns you can possibly get. As a matter of fact, as of filming this, we found one of these for $50. $50, and trust me, it's still not worth that. They're unreliable, they're hard to shoot, they're likely to have serious catastrophic malfunctions.
Didn't seat the round. Not, okay. Not grab around.
And on top of that, they are just a menacingly disgusting pistol. Every time I see this pistol, I just look at it and I'm angry. I would literally rather have the Kel-Tec. My wife is laughing. I would rather have this than this, especially if in a serious altercation, I'm taking this. As a matter of fact, I'm taking every gun that I showed you already over this in spades. Overall, it's hard to shoot. It's stupid. It doesn't load very well. It's unreliable. And it is sort of the epitome of worst gun. Except for the next one. With that being said, let's get right into it with number one, and it's actually 5 pistols. It's all 5 of the pistols I bought for the Sig P320 drop test. Congratulations to me, I have now 8 different versions of the 320 that I do not want, I do not like, and I can't sell to anybody. Great. The Sig P320 is a polymer frame striker fired pistol that's made a lot of news recently for being controversially safe. Let's go with that. Sig claims it's safe, everyone else on the entire planet claims that it's not. It's a pistol that was once in the good graces of almost everybody but myself. Personally, I've never liked it. It has a cool idea. It's got a fire control unit in it, so you can take it out and potentially put it in a less shitty pistol. However, I don't feel like it's worth it for the bad ergonomics, the relatively unsafe mechanism, and overall, all the baggage that comes with the Sig P320. Recently, if you guys didn't see, we actually did a big torture test of the 320. I think that came out a few days before you'll see this video, and I basically destroyed those pistols. For forever and for the rest of time, those guns will be in my vault because I'm not going to sell those guns to anybody, and that's where they'll stay. So overall, that's just another 5 guns that I won't be able to get rid of that someday my kids and grandkids will look upon in terror. Would I rather have a Jennings over a P320 in a serious altercation? Probably not, honestly, but I put the 320 at number 1 because I don't have 8 Jennings, but I do have 8 320s. I don't know if you're counting, but that's 8 times the regret. One of those was a brand new P320 Legion that I actually had to haggle with a guy while the drop safe issues were going on just to cut that number down a little bit to make me feel a little less like I was dying inside when I bought it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support our Oklahoma shelters and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.